Hello, this is Rev Dore Jacques Patlian with Awakened Heart Ministries, teaching the science of mind, philosophy, and faith with heart. Today I want to talk about something that's central to any discussion of spirituality or religion, and that is God. What is God? Who is God? How do we relate to God? There are many answers to this as there are people, even within the same religion. I believe that many people have different concepts of God. God is a vast concept, too big for most minds to conceive. Most of us were taught in Sunday school about the parent God. I sort of envision the parent God as an old man with a white beard and a white robe on with a big gold G around his neck, and he's sitting at a judge's bench with a gavel and the book of life open in front of him so he can track your life and see where you've been naughty and where you've been nice. That's sort of the way it was described to me as a child and in the brief time I spent in church, because I was raised in science of mind and I didn't get much of that. In fact, I didn't get any of that, except for a very brief exposure, which I did not like. You see, I don't believe God's a judge that sits on high. I don't believe God's a judge at all. And I don't believe that God is our parent. We're taught that we are sheep and God is the shepherd. Well, I'm not a sheep. I'm a human being with an intellect. We're taught that we are weak worms of the dust and God is this supreme being of this angry, vengeful God. I don't believe in that God. If God is not better than we are, what need do we have of a God at all? My God, the God that science of mind believes in, and science of mind is extremely God-centered, is the creator God. Not a parent, a creator, and there's a big difference. A creator creates and then allows its creation to flower and grow and take care of its own destiny. The parent gives birth and then fusses over it forever, as long as it lives. Meddles in its every affair. It's concerned about it. Never really lets go. That isn't who God is. God's a creator. And God rules by law, not by caprice or by whim or by emotion. God's not a human being. God doesn't act like us. One of the first mistakes we make in our concept of God, and why so many people are really unsure if there is a God. Many people turn away from God, but something bad happens in their life, or a loved one dies, or a disaster happens. Why did God allow this? God didn't allow or disallow anything. Everything happens by law. Let me explain a little further. We believe that God is first cause. By that I mean the beginning of everything that existed. The very first thing ever created was created with a thought and a word by God. God is the beginning of all, and if there ever is an end, he'll be the end of all. He's the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. God is everything that exists. God is everything. All of its creations make up God. God has no physical body other than its creations. In other words, the universe is the body of God. We exist in the universe, therefore we are part of the body of God. There is no separation between God and mankind. The difference is only of scale. We're not weak worms of the dust. We're not made of clay. We're made of the very stuff of God. We're made of the same substance as the stars and the planets and of God itself. We're made of divine energy. That energy which is behind every bit of material there is in the universe. Because we're created, not parented by God, God has given us free will. You see, God has no interest in us being automatons. God has no interest in us following his will. Because to be honest with you, God has no will for the details of your life. God has a desire for you to fulfill your destiny, your urge to create yourself to the highest that you can. But if you don't, That'll be your decision, won't it? And you'll take the consequences thereof, too. You see, God's given you total free will. Total free will. You can make a heaven out of your life or you can make a hell out of it, and it's totally up to you which you choose to do. Now, this means you're responsible for your life, not God, not your wife, not your husband, not your teachers, not your parents, not anything or anybody. You. Only you have been present every second of your life. Keep that in mind. There's only one common denominator in your life, my friend, and that's you. What does that tell you? You created it, you promoted it, or you allowed it. One of those three things. Everything that happened in your life. By the choices we make or the ones we don't make that we should have made, there are what used to be called sins of omission. I call them errors of omission. Things that we know we should have done and we didn't. And because we didn't, bad things happen. Or things that we knew we shouldn't have done and we did, and bad things happen. And the same is true in the inverse. We do great things and great things happen. We make healthy choices and our life is healthy and strong. We are the captains of our fate and the masters of our soul. Not God. You see, God's not our parent. God's our creator. Very hard to let go of the parent God. Does that mean God doesn't care? Oh no, God cares very much. You see, we are God and God is us. Kind of hard for you to say that, isn't it? We are God. You've been taught the exact opposite, haven't you? You are an expression of God. You are a divine expression of the living God. You want to see the face of God? Look in the mirror. Look at the eyes staring back at you. That's God. The only question is, will you give God a good experience or kind of a rough one? It's all the same to him because he's going to be here forever anyway. He was here before the beginning of time and he's not going anywhere. He'll always exist. And you know what? I've got something to make you pretty happy. So will you. God has known you since before the beginning of time. And God will know you always, regardless of how you live this life. You see, you're a spiritual being. You're a spirit. Temporarily in a body having a human experience. Why are you in this body? And I'll tell you why. You and God are in a symbiotic relationship. That's a mutually beneficial relationship of two organisms. God is omnipotent and omnipresent. That means all-powerful and everywhere at the same time. But God can't experience physical life because God's a spirit. God can observe, but can't feel it, can't do it. But guess what? We can. We are the eyes and ears and arms and nose and taste buds of God. God lives and moves and has his being through us, and we through him. God needs us as badly as we need God. I'm sure almost every one of you, I certainly hope so, have experienced the exquisite ecstasy of an orgasm. God hasn't, but he does through you. That's how God can experience it. What does that feel like? What's all that sound and fury down there? Well, he can experience it through you, but not otherwise. He can only observe. How about that first time you bite into a juicy Georgia peach? The yellow kind, soft and juicy, and the sweetness hits your tongue, and the juice just runs down your chin. That's such a wonderful thing. Or you eat a piece of deliciously ripe watermelon. Or a juicy steak when you're hungry. God can't experience that. Except through you. Except through you, my friend. You're as important to God as he is to you. You both are partners in the creation of your life. You draw your power from God. You draw this beautiful place you live in from God. God created this stage set for you to act out your play. Without God, there would be no earth. There would be no perfect cocktail of gases that make up our atmosphere. Absolutely perfectly designed for human beings and other animals to breathe. If the formula was altered one tiny bit, it would be lethal and we'd all die. Gravity, which is absolutely essential to life on Earth. If it ended, life would end immediately. We'd have no atmosphere. We'd all fly into space, wouldn't we? These are no accidents, ladies and gentlemen. They're the proof of God. Look around you. The very proof of God is right out your window. Now, I'm sitting looking out on the lake behind my house in Sarasota, Florida, with now beautiful blue skies. We had some gray skies earlier in the day, and it's just brilliant blue with puffy white clouds. And it's one of the prettiest sights you ever saw. But wherever you are, there's beauty there. There's grandeur there. There's majesty there. God created it. A strand of DNA, a snowflake, the look of a child when they look into your eyes, or the first time your daughter throws her arms around your neck and says, "Daddy, Daddy." Or your son says, "Teach me to throw a ball, Dad." There's nothing like it in the universe. There's nothing to equal it. And I don't care if you're a Muslim, a Buddhist, a Hindu, a Christian, a Jew, it doesn't matter. We all share these experiences in one way or another. And we all owe them to the one enduring truth, and that is that there is a God, and that God loves you unconditionally. No matter what you've done, it doesn't matter. You're here for a short time. It's a short physical trip, and then it's over, and you return to the Father. We all go home to the Father. I use Father for convenience. God has no sex. You could say Mother just as easily. That's the truth about God. That's a 21st century idea of God. God sends prophets to us to teach us a little bit of truth from time to time. Jesus, Muhammad, the Buddha, Abraham, Elijah maybe, Moses, certainly Moses. Many be Krishna, Zarathustra. All of these people were great, great, great teachers of truth. And each of them was sent to their people to teach in the way that their people would understand. The Buddha, the great light of the East. Even though the Buddhists don't believe in a God quite the way we do, they do believe in a great soul, which is very similar to what we're talking about. If you change your concept of God, you change your understanding of God, a lot of the things that spirituality teaches are going to start to make sense. We don't ask you to park your mind at the church door, not at all. You were given a mind and an intellect to use and to think. You were given a will to choose and make your life. But God rules through law. He rules through the law of cause and effect. What you put into cause, you will experience as the effect in your life. So whatever you choose, be prepared to live with the results. Because you see, God doesn't reward and God doesn't punish. God rules by law. The law will give you back what you put in, for good or for ill. It's your choice. But God loves you so much, unconditionally, because you are Him and He is you. Just as the fingers of your hand belong to you, but each one is individual. That's how you are to God. That's enough for now. God bless and keep you. And know that there is a God, there is a force for good in the universe, and you can use it. And God bless and keep you until we talk again. This is Rev Dore Patlian saying, and so it is.